Welcome to the Industry Edge podcast, where we dive into strategies and insights from leaders shaping the world's hardest working industries. If you're passionate about making a big impact in B2B, you're in the right place. Now let's get started.
Hi, my name is Danielle Neely, your host of the Industry Edge podcast. This episode is brought to you by K&C Marketing. K&C is a full-service marketing agency that helps B2B industrial companies grow their brand and increase sales. To learn more about K&C's brand development, marketing, and website design services, visit kncmarketingagency.com. Today, I'm joined with Danielle White, Human Resources and Safety Manager at Pan-Oston. With experience in HR, payroll, banking, and customer service, Danielle brings a wealth of knowledge in building strong workplace culture and effective people programs. Fun little tidbit about Danielle and I, we were actually table buddies at a recent C12 event. So that's actually how we came to meet each other. So shout out to Tom for putting on an awesome event for us to attend on predictive hiring with Chad Carter. So that was an awesome time. And we had a great time giggling and learning more about how to have a better workplace culture. So Danielle, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, the first one's easy. So tell me a little bit more about you, your experience, and what you do at Pan-Oston, and a little bit more about what Pan-Oston does for the people that don't know.
Sure. My name is Danielle White. I'm HR and Safety Manager here at Pan-Oston. I've been here a little over 3.5 years. Time kind of flies when you're having fun. So what we do at Pan-Oston, we are a sheet metal manufacturer specializing in retail store fixtures. So our bread and butter is checkout lanes. So if you ever shopped at Walmart, Dollar General, Target, some people know H-E-B out in Texas. Those are some of our bigger customers that we have. So if you ever checked out on one of those lanes, odds are you've probably seen one of the little plaques on the edge of the checkout lane that says Pan-Oston. And so if you ever wanted to know where a lot of those are made, they're made here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, surprisingly. So
That's so cool. And so you've been in HR for a really long time, and you and I talked a lot about just how your approach is, how do you keep people happy, people, when you do hire, how do you keep people and retain people? How do you feel like companies and how do you feel like Pan-Oston approaches onboarding, like from the very jump to get a new hire, set up for success on day one? I know you guys just had a recent big push in hiring. So what is your onboarding process, and how does that separate from other companies, you feel?
Sure. Our onboarding process, I'll be honest with you, it's probably one of the shortest that I've ever been in from a manufacturing standpoint. I've been in some where it's been up to 4 weeks. I've been in some where it's been 2 weeks, a week. Ours is half a day, honestly. So our goal, we're not building life-saving equipment. A lot of our ability for the onboarding process is hands-on learning, on-the-job training. Now, from an office standpoint, it's different. There's a structured training that we have, but our goal is to get them to the floor as soon as possible so they can get more hands-on training. So if you've ever built Lincoln Logs, or if you've ever used a screwdriver or hammer or anything like that, odds are you can probably put together one of the cabinets that we have. So they're very unique. There's a lot of different nuances to the different cabinets depending on the customers. So we try to get them out there, get as much hands-on experience as possible. And so they kind of go through a staging process. They start from our simplest cabinet, where it goes to pre-assembly to current assembly, and they just kind of get the day in and day out feel. Every single manufacturing line has a line lead they're paired with, so they are kind of like, lack of a better term, handheld through the process for probably the first 3 or 4 weeks before they kind of go off on their own and kind of learn. So all of our lines are in 3-people teams for what we call our final assembly department. So our goal is to get them as much knowledge as possible, but from day to day, week to week, hour to hour, it's going to be a different cabinet. So it's more hands-on learning, muscle memory that we're trying to get them. The HR stuff kind of takes, it's the same everywhere you go. Just make sure they want to make sure that they get paid, which is important to everybody. But from the HR side, what we try to do is we try to sell the value of Pan-Oston. We try to sell the workplace culture. I try to make sure that everybody understands that this isn't a job, this is a career, this is a lifelong investment, and there's opportunities to grow. So we throw that out there in front, and then we just kind of see where it goes. And I guess that's it on that part.
Awesome. I love that it's shorter too, because I feel, well, and it depends on the job type. So, whether they're, in the warehouse working there or if they're office employees, I'm sure it is different, like you said. But having a long, like thousands of interviews and making it this long, drawn out process. And then for the people that are a part of it that don't get the job, it's like, dang, like, so when everybody's been through that process where it takes so long and you're like, this probably could have been shortened up a bit. So I like that you guys have a shorter approach to it. What do you feel like? So what we talked about at the workshop is oftentimes, I think he said, what, 70% of hires are not the right hire. And it's usually due to, you know, rushing into it and it's being like a reactive hire versus a proactive hire. What do you feel like are some early warning signs for you guys when you've hired somebody that either the process is broken or the person isn't right? Like, what are some signs that you could tell us that you guys have seen?
Sure. So with us, what we found is we had to make a supervisor. We kind of gave them a little bit more ownership in the process. The supervisors are being far more selective in the process. It's not quantity; it's quality now. So we can take and kind of take on a little bit more pressure with less people if we're making the right hires. So before, probably 2.5, 3 years ago, we weren't even taking the hires out on the floor and kind of showing them the process. You can tell a lot by taking them out on the floor and seeing if they
Mm-hmm.
can do the day in and day out. So that's one aspect. We also, instead of doing the typical 30, 60, 90-day reviews, we do a 3-day review. And so we sit down with them at 3 days and we say, all right, this is where you are. How do you feel about the job? That's something that we really take a lot of pride in as far as that 3 day. And we're not afraid to move them to a different department where we feel like they might be more successful. There's some people that might be better suited for, then maybe not be a bad hire, may not be the right fit for that job. So, and then when we move them to a different department, that cycle starts over again. So they have another 3 days, they have another 30, 60, 90. And so we try to keep them in front of where they are, and every department has a line lead. They give us feedback. They have a department lead, a foreman, and a supervisor. So there's chains of command that they can go through if they're not doing well, or if they think that they're not doing well. It's kind of an open conversation from that standpoint to see, is this the right fit? Is this the right job? But I would say we were well over that 70% before we gave the ownership to the supervisors on the front end.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So what do you feel like after doing that, what do you feel like it went to?
I would say we're probably, I mean, it's still high. It's manufacturing. So I would say we're in the 30 to 40 would
Mm-hmm.
be bad hires, but that's still an improvement and we're still working our way there. I mean, you're going to make bad hires wherever you go and whatever positions that you have. We've even made them on
Yep.
the salary side as well too. So you don't really the thing that we had to teach our supervisors is in the interview, that's the best you're ever going to see them. And if you're on the fence, you can say no. It's okay. I mean, it's not the
Mm-hmm.
end of the world. So if you're 50-50 and on the fence in an interview, odds are you need to say no before bringing them on and spending the time and spending the investment of trying to bring them on, knowing that you're fighting an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Like that, and that goes with like, gut reaction is one thing, but like the predictive hiring model, what we learned if you don't get a good feeling from the jump, that's probably telling you something. So empowering them to make that decision on their own, and they don't have to rely on people above them to do that. That's super empowering. So that's awesome. On that note, so like what younger generations, like everybody always talks bad about the generation underneath them, right? That's just how it goes. But I'm like, I feel like we all get better over time, right?
Sure,
But
exactly.
what, right? What do you feel like? Because, in industrial, a lot of our clients are in this space too. And a common challenge that we see is attracting younger talent because as the boomers go out and Gen Z, everybody is getting older, we're having a new workforce come in. What do you feel like separates your guys' company, and why are younger people coming to work for you? Because I know you said you had a great internship program too,
Right.
and
Right.
which is exciting. How do you feel like you guys are staying competitive and attracting that younger talent in a more blue collar industry?
Sure. To be honest with you, it's more word of mouth than anything. We'll interview just about anybody as long as the resume looks right. But it's more word of mouth. They've heard. We've had a change of leadership probably in the last 5 to 6 years, and the culture itself speaks for itself. So you've got when you have your employees coming up and saying, "Hey, I want you to see this person, or you need to interview this person. This is my friend's son. I can vouch for him," and we throw it back on them and say, "All right, now if this person doesn't hack it, I mean, this is on you. This isn't, this isn't, I mean, one of those freebies like, hey, I'm just trying to get a referral bonus here. This is, all right, can this person do the job? Do they fit in with the workplace culture? Are they a
Mm-hmm.
long-term employee for us? Do they have growth aspirations? So there's some things that we kind of put on the employees. So that's our best recruiting method right now that we
Mm-hmm.
have. Now we have a good mixture as far as who we hire and age bracket. So we're not getting as many of the younger generation like fresh out of high school. Unfortunately, we're not the highest paid. We have a couple of plants here that are throwing astronomical amounts of money out there that we can't compete
Mm-hmm.
with, but it's just a nature of the beast in this world that we have. But we do see them down the road. We do see them come in and really say, you know what, Pan-Oston is a great place to work. And it sounds like I've heard from A, B, C, and D employee that works there. They love it there. I want to know what that's all about. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's the great thing that we have going for us right now.
Yep. That referrals, they're strong. That's how our company is great. I mean, it's me, my business partner, which is also my cousin, but all four of our employees have been a referral of either a very close person that we know and trust or another employee. So it works. And if you can find the right fit for culture, obviously competency, all of that. But it's such an important piece. And oftentimes people leave because of a bad teammate or a bad manager. So if you can protect that culture and, weed out those bad apples, they're going to be more likely to refer people. So I like that you hold them accountable. So you're like, you're not just going to get that. You're not just getting
Yeah.
that bonus. Like if this person's a little uh stick in the mud, we'll have a talking to. So I like that as well. What is the breakdown of warehouse like facility employees versus office staff for you guys?
Sure. We have about 45 office staff, or what we call salary or salary non exempt, and then 140, I believe, on the floor between a first and mainly a first shift. We have a skeleton second shift. So we're kind of shifting a little bit to add a few more on second shift to maximize efficiency and production, which some of those employees have asked for actually. So they want that opportunity to be able to have those growth opportunities. So they're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to if I take on more, if I'm willing to do a little bit more, then other opportunities are provided to me, which is good. So they're taking a lot of ownership
Yep.
in their growth at Pan-Oston.
Yep. That's awesome. That's such an important piece of it, of like personal, spiritual, all of the different areas of growth, and to be able to, hey, there's a ladder to climb here. It's
Right.
not if you want to climb it, or you can stay put if you're not wanting, we need all kinds, right? But
Right.
there is
Ex-
opportunity to grow if you want to. What your guys' office, and you're in Bowling Green, do you guys have remote employees as well, or is everybody report to the office for your
Yeah.
office
So
staff?
So we only have four remote
Mhm.
employees. They are within our sales department, so they're
Okay.
strategically placed near our top customers.
Mhm.
Um, actually, five. I lied to you. I'm sorry. One of our directors lives in Minnesota, so they're strategically placed with some of our biggest customers. So those are the only ones. Our motto here is. If the employees have to come to the floor to work to be able to produce our product, then we feel very obligated to be here. So we don't
Mhm.
offer a hybrid schedule. We're 100% on site. We're very much in that mindset of if our employees are here, we need to be here.
Yeah. If you're building something with your hands, like engineers, whether you're doing it behind the computer, being able to actually go see prototypes and see it live, there's a huge benefit in that. So
Exactly. Mhm.
that's awesome. Um, Well, what else have I not asked you about what you guys are doing? I feel it's so interesting to me because so many people are going remote and hybrid, and yet you guys do have such a good culture. And so what are the types of activities that you're doing that people, when if you had to put a couple things in mind of why they love it, like what are some stories that come to mind of why people love working with you guys?
So one thing that we pride ourselves on is we give every single employee 4 paid hours of volunteer time, so they
Hmm.
can go and volunteer, whether it's a Pan-Oston sponsored volunteer event or they can go do their own volunteer event. They just got to provide documentation for that. We are a second chance employer, so we take a lot of pride in that. So we started that about 2 years ago, and it's been fantastic. Project that we've taken on. So I would say just under a tenth of our workforce are current incarcerated employees for us that get shuttled here from the jail, and then they go back every single day, and they're always asking us, can we stay longer? Can we work longer? So there are just probably some of our better employees, to be honest with you. So
Mhm.
with this ramp up period that we're doing right now, we've ramped up our like we spoke before. This we ramped up to where. Um, Business needs required it. So we ramped up 35 employees starting in June, and plan on keeping them due to business needs and forecasting. They're loving the extra hours. They're doing that. So we're doing a thing right now called Mission Possible. It's something that our marketing team came up with, so that we've got a weekly drawing for weekly perfect attendance. We've got a board out there that shows where we are as far as our progress. If we meet a goal, we get a certain uh, end of year incentive that we're all shooting for all of our employees. We do company provided meals. So we also have a leadership pipeline. So one of the things about the growth that we were talking about is we have, I think, 10 or 12 employees that our supervisors have identified as future leaders of our company. And
Oh,
so it is a supervisor led initiative that they have to unanimously vote and nominate their employees to be a part of this pipeline. And so you cannot be promoted to a leadership position in the company without being in the leadership pipeline. So a lot more onus on the supervisors.
yeah.
Another thing that we did is we sat our supervisors down in a conference room one day and said, "All right, in a perfect world, what would be your ideal schedule for your departments?" And they wrote it all down on whiteboards, and I said, "If we can make that happen, would y'all be happy?" And it was implemented in 2 weeks. And so we got a lot of our employees, not right now because we're ramping up. This is our busiest season, but most of our employees work 4 9s and a four. So they have a 2.5 day weekend. We have one department that works 4 10s, and they have a 3 day weekend.
Okay.
So employees love that, because before we were working 6 days a week, 60 hours, 60 plus hours, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And that's great for the paycheck, but it gets to a point where at some point the employees would happily pay you that difference to spend more time with their families. So one of our big
Right.
initiatives from our president is a healthy work-life balance.
Mhm.
And that has really come true for our company and our employees.
That's awesome. That is remarkable, especially, like, being able to say identify, "Hey, there's clearly a problem, like, we're burning out, like, people are burning out, I'm sure," and then be able to
Mhm.
identify it, sit everybody down, and then actually implement it. Like, that's the
Yep.
part I feel like where people wanna talk about it, but to actually put it into practice and implement it for the team, that's I feel
Yeah.
like you don't hear that a whole ton. One of our clients, TMH Mid-South, they did a similar situation with their service team, like all of their technicians, they did a 4-day work week. So rolling like all 10-hour shifts, and they all get to have a Friday off every other week, I believe it is.
Sure.
But the same thing, like they had this idea, knew that there was a problem, and now they love it and they call it their bold day, like their bold day off. So it does
Yeah.
such a good thing for especially the hourly employee that might jump for a dollar or two. It's like they'll come back because of that schedule and being able to have that flexibility within Pan-Oston and a company like that. So that's remarkable. I love
Yeah,
that.
we've seen a lot of impact on that, where the people found that the grass isn't isn't always greener on the other side, which is good
Mhm.
to hear. We get a lot of feedback. So the greatest thing that we can hear is we ask them, why Pan Austin? Why do you want to be here? And
Mhm.
they tell us, we hear it's a great place to work. You can't ask for a better marketing
Right.
strategy that you don't pay for. It's just
Mm-hmm.
word of mouth. So,
Yep. Just put that at the top of your careers page and say, we
yes,
hear this is a great place to work, in quotes.
exactly,
Said by
exactly,
everyone hired.
exactly.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, if you don't have anything else, I feel like this was great. Ended it on a perfect note, but do you have anything else that you would add about Pan-Oston and what you guys are doing that you could add and finish us off with?
I don't have anything. Sorry,
No, that's
sorry
okay.
on
That was
that,
good.
but
That's why I said, I was like,
yeah,
it was like chef's kiss right there at the end. You just wrapped it
yeah,
up with a good, we're the place you want to work.
yeah,
Boom. I'm like,
exactly,
mic drop.
exactly.
We don't say nothing else. I like
Yeah.
it.
Anybody in
Awesome.
Bowling Green looking for a job, look me up. So,
Yes, that's what I was going to wrap it up with. So we've been talking with Daniel White, Human Resources and Safety Manager at Pan-Oston. Daniel, tell everybody, the listeners, where they can learn more about you and Pan-Oston and the career opportunities there.
exactly. So, Daniel White, HR and Safety Manager at Pan-Oston. Look us up at panoston.com. It's panoston.com. And go to our careers page, or you can look me up on LinkedIn and send me a message, and I'd be glad to talk about any opportunities that we have open.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time. This was such a great conversation, and I'm glad we were table buddies that day. This
Me
was
too. Me
great.
too. Thank you
Awesome.
for the invite.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Industry Edge podcast. If you like what you heard on today's episode, we'd love it if you'd leave us a review or click subscribe so you'll get updates about future episodes. We'll see you again soon.